Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very excited to be speaking at this conference. There isn't a lot to be excited about nowadays, but it's I'm glad to have this concerted platform from Economic Times to create a avenue for greater discussion on HR issues. And I'm also very curious and interested in this new concept of how conferences can happen. I think it is really just another reflection of how innovation in the human spirit, like, however trying the circumstances, we still ensure that we're able to make things work. I have been a compensation consultant for a large part of my professional life, and like almost all of us, we've never seen such a strange confluence of economic realities as we are facing today. And as most historians would tell us, very rarely are things entirely new. Somewhere something like this must have happened in history. But I think all of you would agree that the 2009 global financial crisis, or the 2001 and 2 dot-com crisis, etc., none of this has had similar kind of an impact as what we are going through today. And the reason why I'm saying all of this is because the reality presents an interesting opportunity for all of us to genuinely explore and innovate. There's only one fact, and that is that we don't know. Nobody knows how the next few months and years are going to play out. We only have a set of realities as they stand today at our disposal, and we can look at alternatives on how we can address those realities. I know a lot of us are benchmarking on what percentage of companies are giving increases, who are not giving increases, what kind of pay cuts people might be doing, and so on and so forth. But honestly, in my opinion, all of this data is an exercise in futility. Today, more than ever, companies have to acknowledge that every company has a different set of realities and decisions will finally need to take in basis your own personal reality. Benchmarkings at this point in time will be great to read, great to analyze and understand, but they cannot guide thinking. At its, if you cut through all the noise, at its core, there is one immutable reality as it relates to HR and pay. And that is that companies will struggle to reward and remunerate employees the way they have done in the past. Here is an interesting factoid. We've traditionally been benchmarking the productivity of compensation cost against a set of parameters, such as percentage of revenue or percentage of operating costs, etc. What we realize now is that compensation cost is actually a cash expense, whereas revenue is in cash. So when you're looking at the entire aspect around compensation management and cost management, you need to look at it from the perspective that you're spending cash, but there is no operating cash flow. So what we did was we analyzed the largest 100 companies on Nifty, and we basically checked what was how much of operating cash flow they would have to cover for their compensation cost. And the reality is that even if you look at the top 100 companies in India, less than almost a third of them do not have operating cash flow to support salary costs. Sure, they can dip into their balance sheet, they can borrow money, etc., but operating cash flow, even for the largest companies, are not enough to support cash expense and compensation. So in the face of this reality, what do you do? So here are 3 suggestions from our perspective, and it's for us to debate on what applies to you in your context. Number 1, can you use equity in lieu of cash for certain levels of management? B, can you create a deferred bonus bank structure that adjusts for your current bonuses or pay increases? And C, can you consider changing your retirement structure or your approach or the amount that you're parking in retirements for certain levels of management? Let me just quickly go through these alternatives in a bit. Firstly, the equity alternative. Any form of equity award, be it ESOP or RSU, these are all non-cash expenses on your P&L. It's like depreciation. You have to provide for it, but you don't actually pay for it. Imagine if in your senior and top management team, what if you converted their annual bonuses or fixed pay increases, or even a percentage of their allowances into an equity component? Firstly, it would reduce your cash burn. And second, more importantly, it would also drive performance. Because if a share price actually goes up in the next 2 to 3 years, the employee actually stands to make more money. And it's definitely more money than they would have made it, if they had been given the entire amount in cash. And finally, they could also they have the option of tax optimization. There are multiple vehicles that can be evaluated for this, but I think it's important to also highlight that this alternative is also difficult for unlisted companies and naturally more applicable for companies that are listed or have an equity plan in place. The second is this deferment or bonus bank alternative that we were talking about. And some of you might already be doing this. Consider creating a bonus bank of the payouts that you would have made this year or fixed pay increases that you would have made this year. Make that bank pay out after 2 to 3 years, but put a performance multiplier in it. So let's imagine your bonus payout this year was 100 rupees and you would have given a 10 rupee fixed pay increase. So that 110 gets put into a bonus bank. At the end of 2 to 3 years, depending how the performance has been, the eventual outcome for the individual could be 130 or 150 rupees. So naturally, again, what you're doing is you're saving cash today, but you're actually ensuring that if there is performance, the employee stands to make significantly more money in the future. And finally is the retirals alternative. As you all know, the retirals, the tax structure of retirals has been modified. And now there's a consolidated cap of 7.5 lakh rupees on a cumulative amount of PF, PS, superannuation, accrued interest, etc. For employees who have not yet met the 7.5 lakh rupee cap through all the retirement components, but also are above a certain threshold of pay, what if you increase the retirals up to the non-taxable portion by creating either superannuation fund or creating an NPS fund, parking more money in it, etc. Again, it's not a cash that is immediately payable to the employees, but as we all understand, India does not have a retirement structure that allows for employees to have sufficient post-retirement pay. So this could actually help in that, while also ensuring that there's lower tax impact on the employees, and again, finally, a non-cash element for the company's P&L. These are just some alternatives that you can consider. I'm sure all of you are looking at different other kinds of alternatives. Companies have done things like reducing their leave balances. They've also done aspects around reducing benefit costs around car, travel, and those kinds of related benefits. But I think the fundamental message is that there are a range of alternatives that one needs to consider before we come down to the thoroughly unattractive proposition that some companies have been pushed to of looking at reducing pay or even reducing headcount. Before I finish, I just wanted to put some imagery into this. Imagine you're walking through a dark room. When you cannot see what is ahead of you, your mind always becomes more aware of smaller sights, sounds, lights, forms, and so on. You constantly calculate and evaluate in your head on where you might be going, what alternatives exist ahead of you. That's exactly how all of us are today. We are walking through an absolutely dark tunnel. And because of that, it will make our senses sharper. Let's constantly scour for ideas and thoughts that can help us navigate. And for the first time, I have to say this, and this is an anathema from my profession of being a compensation consultant who does a lot of benchmarking and so on. It's an anathema to say this, but external data will not help us right now. Our ideas will. Thank you very much for having me here today, and I wish you and the team at Economic Times HR World all the very best for the new initiative. Good afternoon.